Hello, welcome back to another lore video. Today we are going to be talking about why the Jedi were relatively unknown in the galaxy post the Clone Wars era. But before we begin, please be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a video from us. So, the Jedi are the protagonists of Star Wars. Nobody can really deny this, with the exception of a few spin-offs. They are almost always the central characters. And yet, that seems odd that these super-powered knights that defend the Republic are relatively unknown by people who live in the galaxy at large. And there are a few reasons for this. For this, we're going to have to look at these few key point factors and explore just how the Jedi were perceived by and interacted with the galaxy. Starting with, there really weren't that many Jedi. I know that sounds kind of weird because we've heard repeatedly that there were 10,000 Jedi Knights during the era of the Clone Wars, but the simple fact is, 10,000 isn't a lot in scale proportion to the galaxy at large. And because they were guarding a galaxy, Jedi weren't everywhere. They really centered on a few specific temples like on Coruscant or other locations, and were usually dispatched throughout the galaxy. And because of this, most people might never even interact with a Jedi in their lifetime. Not that most would even know that they were Jedi, as Jedi were prone to wearing very simple clothing and not drawing much attention to themselves. Because of this, even people who interacted with Jedi might not know that they did. These two factors certainly helped insulate the fact that people knew that Jedi were a thing, but were more through hearsay and general knowledge rather than direct interaction. Another factor that helped contribute to this was the fact that the Jedi were diplomats. This is in part because they thought they had a duty to help the Republic, but they also still didn't want to be exposed to the galaxy at large. They were still a very contemplative order, and as such tended to keep to themselves when they weren't actively on missions. This certainly helped cause a rift between them and the general population of the galaxy. Another significant factor that led to this speeding up of the loss of knowledge of the Jedi was their removal from almost all sources of knowledge by the Sith. Once Palpatine had seized control of the Empire as we know it, he quickly worked about destroying temples and artifacts or collecting them for himself, and generally wiping the Jedi from the history books. So without this, new generations, even if they heard rumors, could not find any concrete evidence on what the Jedi were, and they became more like urban legends or myths than actual people. And even people who had seen or even had contact with the Jedi were forbidden to talk about it for fear of being imprisoned or worse by the Empire. And finally, the last reason that most people just didn't know who the Jedi were was due to the fact that they were using the Force. And the Force itself was a concept that most people in the Star Wars universe either believed in more as a religious icon or thought it was pure magic and fantasy stories. Nobody actually believed it was real. But since the Force was a real thing and the Jedi heavily practiced this, most people didn't think that they were really a real order. They came across more like legends of wizards and whatnot. We even see this in The Mandalorian when they refer to them as an order of wizards. This is just how they were viewed by the rest of the galaxy at large. And it's worth noting that even though many people were Force sensitive even after the fact, being Force sensitive and being able to use the Force like the Jedi did required a significant amount of training. And since most people didn't have that, they mostly attributed Force-specific abilities to things like luck or good fortune or just even some natural talent that a person had. Which wasn't untrue, but wasn't the reason why they had the ability. And this was really all why the Jedi were just so unknown, especially once the Empire came along and removed everything. But what do you guys think? Do you think this was a good explanation for why so many people forgot about the Jedi and didn't know about them? Or do you think it could have been better? Let me know in the comments below, and stay tuned because we'll have more lore videos coming out. Bye!